Hey, this is Larry Osborne here again, and I want to continue talking about this thing called discipleship and how it works in the real world. We've already seen that there's a difference between discipleship, which is the next step of obedience, and leadership, which is not for everyone, but for some, and is about the next step of sacrifice. But what about this discipleship that is a command for all of us? One of the things that can go wrong when it comes to discipleship is our tendency to forget the fact that no two personal relationships are exactly alike. I find that we often talk about having a personal relationship with God, but when it comes to trying to figure out how to be a good disciple, we often try to clone ourselves with someone else, or when it comes to discipling people, we have this one path and we want everybody to go on the exact same path of information and experiences. And like I just said, no two personal relationships are ever exactly alike. That's what's unique about them. I often think of this in terms of my brother and I. My brother and I were so different that we used to have to pull out our driver's licenses to convince people that we were brothers when we were teenagers. Our kind of values, our group of friends, our interests, they were as far apart as could be. But we both shared the same dad, and we had a great relationship with our dad. Now, how foolish would it have been for me to tell my brother, if you want to have a great relationship with dad, what you need to do is you need to get into USC football and know a little about it and really enjoy it. You need to go out for sports so that he can come to the games and you can talk about them and all of the things that my dad and I connected on. Or imagine that my brother goes, no. No, the way to connect with dad is to connect with him through his love of music or his love of irony, and especially his love of travel. Always talk about the vacations we've had and the places we've been, which, by the way, I could never remember any of them because my head was in a book when we were driving somewhere, and my brain is always into tomorrow, never into yesterday. And we both would have explained to each other the real way to have a personal relationship with dad. And my dad would have shook his head and said, "What are you talking about? I am the same, but you are different. And we have different ways of relating." Now, here's what we did have in common. We had the same house rules that we had to live by. There were a lot of things we were not allowed to do and a lot of things we were supposed to do. And those were universal. But when it came to the pathway of our communication and the pathway of a relationship, they couldn't have been more different. And whenever I'm involved in helping people grow in their walk with God, I try to remember that. What worked for me might not work for them. What changed my life might have no impact on their life. The real question isn't, are you using the same recipe that worked for me? The real question is, what kind of fruit is growing on your tree? That's what discipleship is all about. Helping people take the next step of obedience. If you found this helpful, I encourage you to subscribe, and we'll send some more stuff your way.